Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22, and we are on Kubota Farm here in East Vineland, New Jersey. And I was just stopping at the supermarket, get some milk, some bread, some eggs, some stuff for maybe a little beverage. Just getting set up for breakfast tomorrow. Taking a look. I haven't been around East Vineland much, so I was kind of driving around, looking at some of the fields that are here, some of the housing that's available. It's a beautiful area. I'll tell you what, though, land is not cheap in East Vineland. It's given me a little more appreciation for, for our property and how much money we have just invested in just our property alone. But to expand, we are going to have to make some serious cash. No doubt about it. So in that regard, we have some money sitting out in that field right there. These bales right here, all silage, they're fermenting. They're going to earn us at least, a decent chunk of change. I actually forget if I am playing on normal. Yeah, so economic difficulty is normal. And actually, I'm glad I looked at that because we can turn our timer on. But these have just started fermenting. So they are very early on in the stage, and I was considering picking them all up, but then I thought, nah, let's just let them cook in the sun and get their fermentation done, and maybe we can store some away, and we'll probably end up selling quite a bit of it because we don't have any animals to feed yet. We will want to do some planning to feed our animals, but for now, I think we probably need money. I think I am, back as far as I need to go. Right now, we're probably in a little bit more need of cash than we are anything. And I think because we're going to want to either expand our property, or we do have access to a couple of animal plots. Oh, what's this little guy? Oh, look at you. Well, outstanding. How many of those? Does this thing have 100? Is it 100 collectibles in this? Yeah, 100 collectibles. Well, I'm going to have to start keeping my eye open a little bit more for collectibles, aren't we? Interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, we can, eventually we have this pig lot here that we can purchase some pigs and start getting going on those. And I thought over yonder here, as part of this fence that I love to run into, I think we've got a sheep pen. Yeah, so we can always invest in some sheep. And actually, we might do this sooner than later because sheep are pretty simple creatures to take care of. And actually, this might be the ticket to get some cash rolling in sooner than later. So let's think about that while we are working along here. Now, right now, we're kind of in a sit and hold stage because of the fermentation on those silage bales, and we've got two fields here that are limed up, cultivated, and ready to go. So we've got a good seed bed on these. We need to plant these or seed them. And I was looking at our calendar, and it looks like our calendar is the standard game calendar. So right now, the only thing we really have an option for is canola. We don't need to do well, poplar. Ooh, no, thanks, not right now. Grass, of course, we could plant, but I don't think we want to fill these two fields up with grass. There's a second grass here. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maybe if any of you know why there's two grasses. I was looking here and I see that they do have cracked corn and cornmeal. And we need to keep that in mind because maybe planting some corn would be a really nice idea. But what I didn't see, and normally if you see a couple grasses, I thought one of them might be like alfalfa. But I was looking through here and I see grass, but I don't think I saw any other type of grass on here. So I'm not particularly sure why there's two grasses listed on our calendar. Anyways, we could go ahead and we could sleep through to September. That would give us an option to plant a little bit more like wheat and barley, which I think would be good. They are, as far as harvesting goes, they're equally the same. So we could they'll give us a reasonable harvest in July. At least we could get harvesting to those. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm babbling, but I think what we need to do is call it a day, take a nap, go to sleep, do our thing, come back and see how our fermentation is cooking along. And let's see, I actually forget, kind of forget where our house is. Oh yeah, the manure heap. Okay, is our house? There it is. That's what we wanted. So let's go ahead and sleep. We'll wake up good and early, 6 a.m. in September. It might still be a little bit dark, but we'll figure that out as we go along. So I hope your Labor Day weekend has been wonderful. I just released just before this episode a episode of Buchern. If you haven't had a chance to check out any of my Buchern gameplay, feel free to do so. I love that little map. It's been a good little map. We're still early on in that map. I do that map a little bit differently than Kubota Farm. I actually don't play outside of recording. So basically everything I do on that map, I take you all along with me. This one, I've kind of opened it up a little bit more to getting some stuff done, you know, on the sly and bringing you back. And that way maybe things move along a little bit quicker if that's the type of gameplay you prefer. So let's think about what we want to plant here. Do we want to do maybe a wheat and a barley? I guess it doesn't really matter too much. One thing I've learned is you might get more yield out of one crop than the other, but typically the prices for those crops pretty much balance themselves out. So it really doesn't matter too much on the end, at least from all the statistics I've seen. That's usually how it all works out. So maybe we can just do, I'm thinking as if it came down to feed or whatever, you know, horses like oat, but we can't plant oats anyways, and we don't have any horses, and we probably won't have any anytime soon. So I would say let's just do a couple of fields of barley. We'll just call it one type, and we'll call it good. Now it would be nice. I generally prefer a little daylight, so let's maybe scooch time ahead just a tad and get a little bit more sun out so we can see what we're doing. We won't need our plow tractor for this. We'll probably actually, the M7. Yeah, we can use the M7 for this. Beautiful. Beautiful map, isn't it? Beautiful daybreak. Gotta love it. I love that mist and kind of that foggy look over the horizon there. It always looks really, really nice. Let's go ahead and get our time back down here. And actually, while we're here, let's go check real quick on our fermenting and see what kind of process these things are at. Oh, 38%. So they're definitely not chugging along. It looks like we're going to need at least another day. Maybe by the end of the day, into tomorrow, these things will be ready to pick up. And I think we might just sell quite a bit of it straight away. Get some money rolling in. We can grab our little M7. I think that'll be a good match for a seeder. Wherever our seeder is. Like I said, we're limed up, but we'll wait until after we seed to fertilize. And I'm always getting these confused, but I think if I'm looking at these right, this looks like, boy, that looks like a seeder, right? And that's the planter? Find out. Oh man, you would think I've never played the game before. I bet I'm wrong too. I bet I had a 50-50 shot, and I'm wrong, you know. But this looks to me more like a seeder, right? Let's find out. Oh yeah, it's a seeder. All right. A seeder that is empty. So let's go grab some seed for. Open up the cover. Pull underneath our multi-fruit dispenser from 82 Studios. David over at 82 Studios, always doing an amazing job with the mods. And there we go. We are fully dispensed. I don't think this thing does... No, it does not do fertilizer as well, so we'll just have to live with seed only. And I think the M7 will handle this seeder quite nicely. Oh, I do have... okay. I wasn't sure if I had GPS on this thing, but now I remember that when Kubota delivered these tractors, they said, hey, we'll load them up if you need it. So let's turn our GPS on. It's been a while since I've used this. I don't use it on Buchern. I haven't used it here yet. So let's get our width set up. And our lines are on. We don't want dots. I always do A heading. We can try 0. And let's see where we're at, if I'm backwards or forwards. Yep, we need to, if I remember how to do this, turn it that way is what we want. Reverse this thing up a little bit. I don't have my side panel, so I'm kind of, my fingers are fumbling a little bit here. I'm used to doing my side panel buttons, but we'll get it figured out. So we don't want wheat. I think we're going to do barley. Let's do barley. And let's fire it up. Get her lowered. I think locked in is it Alt-X? Yeah, Alt-X. Okay. And let's get seeding. Easy peasy. You gotta love it. I love the smell of seeding in the morning, right? With Kubota tractor, Kubota seeder, couldn't get much better than that. And if you could, I don't know. I don't know what it would be. I know some of you are going to say, you know, oh, John Deere, maybe Fent. Maybe got some big Fent fans. I'll tell you what, I was watching Mr. George Saunders, a British farmer, and he was at a tractor show. This is a video that was out, I think it was probably a good month ago or so. But he was out at a tractor show. I think it was a tractor show. May have been an auction, actually. But anyways, there was a Deutz Fahr Warrior tractor. Actually, you know what? We might as well just go ahead and plow straight. Or I'm sorry, plow. And seed straight through. I don't see any reason not to. We'll pick up a little bit here and we'll just do both fields this way. Make life a little easier on ourselves. And he was looking at a Deutz-Fahr Warrior tractor. And I'll tell you what, seeing that thing, well, I was going to say in person. It's not in person. It was on video. But that thing looked epic. It was a beautiful tractor. And it was in the that black Warrior livery. And it just looked clean. And I mean, I would have, I'll tell you, I can understand why farmers get excited about their equipment. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're going to be out in the field all day and this is your office, you know, you want to drive something nice, right? And I remember when I first heard that Lamborghini had a tractor, and I thought, no, that can't be right. Lambo makes a tractor, and sure enough, you know, of course they do. And I remember looking at those Lambos and thinking, man, those are some beauts. I see what I did here. I am off a track, so we are going to get this track taken care of that I missed right there, and then we'll get them evened out. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to spend, I mean, these farmers sometimes are what, in their tractors, you know, 10, 12 hours a day? At least, sometimes 16, 18 hours, I'm sure, during planting season and harvest seasons. You want it to be comfortable and, you know, stereo. And it was funny, I was watching another farmer up in Canada, and he was talking, he was pointing out the pros and cons, are the differences between the John Deere. He had a John Deere. Let's just get this evened out. I know we already did this strip, but it won't hurt anything. Actually, I see exactly what I did, because I did that strip right there, didn't I? How did I mess this up exactly? What did I do? I know what I did. I was yapping. All right, we'll head back this way, and then we'll be even steep. So anyways, he was comparing the pros and cons, because he had run a Fendt Ideal combine the year before, and I think those are beautiful looking combines myself. I am a John Deere fan, don't get me wrong. I mean, come on, I live in the States. John Deere is, you know, apple pie, right? Anyways, but he was comparing the two and what he liked about each one, or what one, you know, what he felt one had over the other. And it was kind of comical. You know, I was thinking he's going to say things like, you know, oh, the header on this one is, you know, so much better, and the sifting is so much better, and all these technical farming terms, you know, and stuff, and which he did get a little bit into. But the biggest things that he commented on were the cup holders. He so much more preferred John Deere's cup holder layout, which completely cracked me up, because I guess John Deere in their combines, at least this particular one, I think it might have been an X9. It was a big one. It had like 6 or 7 cup holders of varying sizes. He liked the fridge better, because the fridge was actually a legitimate like refrigerator, a powered refrigerator instead of a cooler. And it had a light, which he said was super handy, you know, when they're out harvesting at night. It's nice to have, you know, obviously be able to see the sandwich you're grabbing for, I guess, more or less. Much like me, I'm having a hard time seeing. I always have a hard time seeing what the what we've done and what. See, I'm not on the right. I'm not on the right row. And then what else? What else was he saying? He made some comments about how he preferred. He definitely seemed to prefer the John Deere over the Fendt in almost everything. I think they had a few breakdowns on the Fendt that that probably kind of soiled his opinion of it a little bit. So what was it? The cup holders, the fridge. He liked the lighting on the John Deere better. He felt that it illuminated the field better, but he did say though that the front lights weren't as good as the Fent. I think he said the Fent had better front lighting because it had a roof light or something built into it. I'm trying to think of what else he commented on. I know as far as the actual, you know, part of the combining and the harvesting part of it, where, you know, where you're looking at like how well does it separate the grain. I believe they were both very, you know what, it might be easier just to, I'm almost naturally skipping each lane, aren't I? Maybe I should just do that. Anyways, he was saying that they were basically very similar in quality, so I thought that was kind of interesting. And he was harvesting mustard, and of course the yield they were getting was just horrible. They're dealing with, you know, severe drought. Yeah, I think it's in, boy, because he shares the border with Montana. What is that, Manitoba? Saskatchewan? I should know this because I had lived in Canada for a few years, but yeah, they're dealing with drought like a lot of places are dealing with drought, you know, and it's sad to see because they really are struggling to, you know, to get a good crop in, and that's got to be tough, you know. I mean, think about if you went to work every day and, you know, outside of anything you could do about it, your boss came up to you and said, hey, today we're only paying you half because, you know, because it didn't rain last month. You know, that would suck. And these farmers have to deal with that on a very regular basis. They are constantly dealing with, you know, they're subject to the weather. And I'm always fascinated. I like this. I like the way that thing pivots. That's pretty cool. I always like looking at this equipment and seeing how it works and how it kind of pivots around. And it's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of uncontrollables in farming. You know, the weather, of course, probably being the biggest. And you feel for these guys. Now, I think, and I'm starting to pick up little things here and there. Maybe some of you know more about this, but I believe there is crop insurance that these farmers take out every year. Some type of insurance for their crops. Now, I don't know what all that covers. If it covers just damage, or if they actually can get reimbursed for years where the weather has gone on them. I don't know. You know, I'd be curious to find out. But I remember watching, is it the Millennial Farmer? And, you know, they had that tornado go through their farm. And I know, of course, you know, they have homeowners insurance, and I'm sure they have some other insurance that cover their barns and their, you know, their silos and all that stuff. But it's amazing to me the amount of money that must go into farming. It's just, it boggles my mind. I mean, you watch these guys and women farmers, of course. I'm saying guys as a general term, but you watch them and like they'll have a tractor breakdown and have to order, you know, $2,000 worth of parts to get their tractor up and running. It's like they must, you know, you've got to be very, very good with your budgeting and with your, you know, with your savings and just dealing with your cash, or I'm assuming you could get into trouble very, very quickly otherwise. And I'm lined up wrong again. I don't know why I'm having so many problems lining this thing up. Maybe I should get the Headland mod and let it do its job for us. So yeah, it's curious, and that's I think one thing that I enjoy, you know, almost the most out of watching all these YouTube farmers is just hearing about their, you know, the day-to-day stuff they go through, and you know, just what they think about. Oh, that's where this all started, when I was talking about that Deutz Fahr Warrior. And then on the opposite side of that, there is another YouTuber I watch occasionally, and it's basically, I think, him and his dad running a smaller farm, but you look at their equipment, and I don't think they have anything newer than 1980 or 85, you know, and they're out there doing the same things that these other farmers do. I'm certain on a little bit smaller scale. But yeah, they're, you know, I mean, and he's funny too, because he's even making comments, you know, about how, you know, his air conditioning, and he, you know, opens a side window. That's his AC for the day. And can you imagine that? I mean, I think they're in Indiana. And I'll tell you, you might not think it, but Indiana in the summer with heat and humidity can get uncomfortable. It can get very uncomfortable. And just imagine that, you know, being out and they've got tractors that don't even have a canopy. Like, we're talking old 1950s and 60s stuff that you're just baking in the sun and the dirt, you know. And just imagine how, I mean, that'd be pretty uncomfortable all day. Now you know how you get the old term, you know, the redneck, you know, or the farmer's tan. Yeah, you're going to have a redneck and you're going to have a farmer's tan. There's no doubt about it if you're working in an open tractor, you know, from morning to night. I have a lot of respect for farmers. I do. They're hardworking people. Very hardworking. And one thing I have seen more often than not, and maybe this is, you know, the family that farms together is always very, it's always very cool to see with these farmers, and how their kids are so willing to help out around the farm, and you know, drive the tractors, and how young they are when they learn how to operate this machinery. And you can see it in these kids that are like 12 years old, 14 years old, you know, 15 years old, and a maturity level that seems to be a little bit different than I see oftentimes outside of that, let's just say. They have a certain air of responsibility to them, and it's pretty cool to see. It is. It's pretty cool to see, and I'm sure, you know, I'm generalizing, of course, you know, but there's probably farming families out there where the kids don't want anything to do with the farming. I'm sure of it, but I'll tell you, when you see these families working together on the farm the way they do, it's pretty cool. I'm actually kind of jealous, and I think farming would be, I should say, on the list of occupations that if I could, you know, snap my fingers and do something different, I think farming would be, farming would be one of those things. I think this right here for an office is not bad. It could be a lot worse, you know. Air conditioning, nice. Oh, that was another thing that he liked about the John Deere, and he said, in fact, John Deere pretty much reigns supreme on this, is the stereo. He said that John Deere always has a really good stereo system in their combines, at least. I got the impression that it might even be with their tractors as well, but for sure with their combines, he said there's no comparison between the John Deere stereo systems and other machinery that he's operated. At least in his opinion, that's how it was. So I think we get some planting finished. Man, I actually went too far that time. What a surprise. I think we'll get some our 2 fields planted and completed. It's not going too bad. I'm not sure exactly what else we'll need to do. We'll need to get some fertilizer down on these things for sure, because they are definitely in need of that. So we will fertilize after planting, and then I think excuse me, we don't have a roller. I don't think we're gonna worry about rolling. Oh yeah, I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not. Maybe I did, but I did pick up the mod that is that makes it so you don't have to roll after certain crops. So it actually makes it a little more realistic, because you're not going to see a farmer out there planting potatoes, for instance, and taking a big heavy roller to a potato crop when it's done. But in game, it's set up so that you're technically supposed to roll after you plant potatoes, if you want your full yield out of it. So maybe I'm kind of hoping Giants kind of figures that one out, and maybe changes that in the next release. Look at the detail down there on just, is that a zip, like a zip tie thing, like a hose clamp, that white thing? It's hilarious. It's just, it always just boggles my mind, the amount of detail that goes into the modeling on these tractors, and just how good it really is. And I have never driven a Kubota, but, and I'm sure you all heard this as well, just how accurate, excuse me, just how accurate the sound is on these things. And it's just cool to know that, you know, that the company making the game that you love appreciates how much, you know, how much we appreciate, and knows how much we want things to be, you know, accurate, and we want as much realism as we can get our hands on. So it's cool when they get us set up like that. All right, well, I think that is gonna do it. I know I've been yapping a lot, but I feel like, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. Everybody's in a good mood. I really hope you all were safe and stay safe this week. And I hope you had a really good Labor Day weekend as we head back to school and work. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Honestly, the most important thing is we all just look out for each other. You know, it doesn't take a whole lot to make sure that your neighbor is in good shape and your buddy's taken care of. That's what we're here for, right? And thanks for joining me again. And if you like the video, throw a like down there. If you want to, feel like being notified of when I put more videos out, feel free to subscribe as well. I see my subscriber base is growing slowly. I like to see more and more people enjoying my videos. Of course, that always makes it a little bit more fun when you've got people who enjoy your videos and are watching them because they love the same game you do. But that's about it for me. Y'all take care of yourselves. God bless. And I will see you Tuesday morning with another episode, actually. We'll be right back here in East Vineland. So yeah, talk to you guys later. Take care now.